Africa is entirely dangerous like South Africa. You're just gonna walk around and hear pa 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 pa. So before coming to South Africa, there's so much I heard about this place and there's so much rumors I heard about South Africans. But let me tell you about the lies that you've been told about South Africa. South Africans are xenophobic. Yes, some South Africans are xenophobic, but not all South Africans are xenophobic. A lot of other South Africans just accept other Africans as they are or other foreigners as they are, and they don't have any problem with that. Of course, until you start bringing your criminal behavior here, everybody is gonna be like, what are you doing? And once you start misbehaving as a foreigner, it causes alarm and people start getting alert and being cautious over you. So some South Africans are very, very, very xenophobic. Whether you're here legally or illegally, they just don't like you, and that's just what it is. And you've been told that all South Africans are black people. Absolutely not. All countries in the southern part of Africa accommodate white people who are white Africans. It goes way back in history. Yes, we had a lot of white settlers in Africa, and yes, some of them remained here. So South Africa is not only occupied by black people, but also white people and colored people and people from other nationalities like the Indian. It's a cosmopolitan world. Everybody is here. It's Rainbow Nation for a reason. You've also been told that there's no tribalism in South Africa. For as much as South Africans are fighting foreigners on a daily, for as much as you hear so much about xenophobia, yeah, they have other things to deal with. They deal with tribalism as well. And that makes me sad because, when will South Africans rest? I feel so bad, honestly, because it's just a lot going on. And I can imagine the toil that has on their mental health because, you cannot be consuming negativity on a daily and expect to produce positivity. Everything you're producing is going to be a reflection of what you're consuming. So for me, I'm like, dang. I've had conversations where people from different tribes are like, my tribe is superior than this one. And I'm like, no tribe is superior than any other tribe in Africa. Forget about it. There are no jobs for foreigners in South Africa. I think the last time South Africa had jobs for foreigners was way back when they welcomed the Dutch people for their skills. I will expound more on this because I have heard it from the horse's mouth. I've been to Europe and I asked around about the history of Europeans in South Africa, and some of them were very well equipped with this knowledge and they shared it with me, so I might as well share with you guys on another video. Matter of fact, if you're an African and you're thinking of migrating, don't migrate to South Africa, or at least migrate to South Africa if you have a ready opportunity. Otherwise, you're just coming here to contribute to the poverty level. You're just here to be a statistic. You're gonna suffer. Imagine you don't have a job and you're still facing hostility and people don't want you around. So what are you going to do? So don't come here without a plan, or at least just don't come here. Come here to visit, come here as a tourist, contribute to the economy, but don't think you're coming here to get a job. South Africans themselves don't have these jobs. And what makes me wonder is that South Africa is the hub for money in Africa. Like, this is the center. This is where money is. But what's happening, bro? Like, what happened to industrialization? I thought industrialization was meant to create opportunities, bro. But hey, if you're coming here to look for jobs, I'm sorry. Think twice. Something else that you've been told about South Africans is that South Africans are lazy. Bad shit crazy if I ever hear you saying that, bro. Bro, I'm just not ever going to engage with you because clearly you're so damn. Tell me why you would think that someone would willingly be broke. One thing about South Africans, though, is that they are very picky. Yes, especially the learned South Africans, those people who have been to universities. Oftentimes, they don't feel like they should be doing certain jobs, getting certain pay, which is fair. I mean, why would I spend 16 years in school and then get paid 2,000 rands per month? Okay. Because I've had personal conversations with some unemployed South Africans, and most of them are like, I am not going to be a garbage collector. With my degree, nah. But I'm telling you for real, back at home, whether you have a PhD, whether you have a master's, whether you have a degree, whether you have a diploma, if you're broke, you're all gonna fall under the same category. You're all gonna sell boiled eggs. So back at home, a lot of people are not picky. A lot of people just do what they can to survive. But a lot of people are smart. I feel like Kenyans know how to make money. They're more like Nigerians. A lot of Kenyans are always complaining about the economy and the government. But in real sense, Kenyans have money. Something else that you've been told about South Africa is that South Africa is dangerous. Yes, best believe it is. Personally, I've been here for so many months and I can tell you I still don't go outside with my phone. Matter of fact, I don't go outside if I don't need to be outside. I just don't go outside. I don't go outside. Like, it's not like you're gonna walk outside and get smuggled or get killed. Nah, there's crime everywhere in every other country, in every other continent. But people exaggerate so much about South Africa. Yes, there are criminals, dangerous ones, but it's not that rampant. It's not everywhere. It's not all the time. You just need to know your ways. You just need to, know your timing. You just need to be smart. South Africa will force you to be street smart, and that's for sure. But that's something that I like. I haven't had any bad experiences regarding mass security, so I wouldn't say that South Africa is entirely dangerous like South Africa. You're just gonna walk around and hear pa 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 pa. Nah.
So picture this. You're sitting on your phone, scrolling, and suddenly a Nigerian woman pops up in your feed saying, "Guys, we have been lied to about South Africa." Instantly, you're like, wait, what do you mean lied to? And that's where this whole conversation gets interesting, because she came with some serious truth bombs that had a lot of people rethinking what they thought they knew about South Africa. First off, she tackled the big one, xenophobia. Now let's be real, if you've heard about South Africa in the news, chances are you've heard about this issue. But she didn't sugarcoat it. She said, yes, some South Africans are xenophobic, but not all. In fact, a lot of South Africans are actually cool with foreigners, as long as you're not out here causing trouble. She put it perfectly. If you start misbehaving as a foreigner, of course people are going to raise eyebrows. But painting the whole nation with one brush? That's just another one of those lies people keep spreading. Then she broke down another misconception, this idea that South Africa is only black people. She was like, nope, that's not true at all. South Africa is one of the most diverse countries on the continent. You've got black South Africans, white South Africans, colored communities, Indian South Africans, and people from all over. It's literally called the Rainbow Nation for a reason. So if you thought you'd land in Johannesburg and only see one group of people, think again. It's cosmopolitan. Everybody's there. And here's one I found fascinating: tribalism. While outsiders mostly hear about xenophobia, she pointed out that South Africans themselves also deal with tribal divisions. She said it's sad because it adds another layer of tension inside the country. And she's right, because constantly being surrounded by negativity takes a toll on people. Her point was clear. You can't expect positivity to grow in an environment that's filled with division, whether it's xenophobia or tribalism. Now, let's talk jobs. She didn't hold back here. She said flat out, there are no jobs for foreigners in South Africa. If you're planning to migrate there without a clear plan or opportunity waiting for you, you might just end up suffering. And honestly, that makes sense, because unemployment in South Africa is already high. She even made the comparison to her own country, saying back home people will hustle no matter what, sell eggs, run small businesses, whatever it takes to survive. But in South Africa, especially among educated people, many refuse to take certain jobs if they feel it doesn't match their qualifications. That's not laziness, that's standards. And you can see her frustration when she says, why would someone spend years in school just to earn peanuts? Another stereotype she challenged was the idea that South Africans are lazy. And she went off on this one, basically saying, if you ever call South Africans lazy, you're just not making sense. She explained that many South Africans are picky, not lazy. There's a difference. They just don't want to accept jobs that don't reflect their education level. And honestly, who can blame them? And of course, the big one, safety. South Africa's reputation internationally is that it's super dangerous, but she said it's not exactly like that. Yes, there's crime, and yes, you have to be careful. She even admitted she doesn't just walk around with her phone in hand. But she also made it clear, it's not like you'll step outside and immediately get attacked. Crime is everywhere in the world. The key in South Africa is being smart about how you move, knowing your timing, and staying streetwise. She even said she hasn't had any bad experiences personally, which is a huge contrast to the horror stories people spread online. So when you put all of this together, her message was simple. A lot of what people outside South Africa believe is exaggerated, outdated, or just flat out wrong. Yes, there are challenges: xenophobia, tribalism, crime, unemployment, but there's also diversity, acceptance, culture, and resilience. And the most important part of her video was the advice she left Africans thinking of moving there. Don't come to South Africa without a plan. Visit, enjoy the beauty, contribute as a tourist, but don't just show up expecting opportunities to fall into your lap. And honestly, I think that's the kind of reality check that more people need to hear. Because the truth is, South Africa is complicated. It's not all doom and gloom, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. It's a mix, just like anywhere else in the world. So what do you think? Do you agree with her breakdown, or do you think she left something out?